Okay, so here's an update on what I've been working on for class for the serious game. Firstly, I've got a number of scripts here. I'll have a look at them in a minute. I've got these couple of little things that I've made here. Downloaded that. Show you all them in a minute. And this is my scene where I've been practicing how to set all this up. It'll make all more sense in a minute. Now, what I have here is I have an equipment manager that just sets some survey states and then just counts how many of an object there are. Easy. Then I have my survey states themselves. This is on the tripod. So it will turn things on and off, and it includes the cameras as part of it because they're all part of the same object. So if I just shut this, so the survey tool is there. It has a ground point and a tripod. If I look at these, so that's the ground point, and then this is the tripod. Ground point's this there, tripod's this. It's got the Tribrach there as part of it. On top of that, it also has a prism. Let me just get a better view of that. Prism and a total station. We've been working on that separate scripts. Another person's been working on that stuff. I've been focusing on the Tribrach. On the Tribrach, those little, so that and that form my little bubble thing here. And I'll show you that in a second. It's not the easiest to see when I'm doing it, but it works for what I need it to. So this just, when you change the state, it does different things. So when the ground point's active, the tripod's not. If the tripod gets turned on and it was, sorry, if we go into tripod mode, but the tripod was off, it turns it on, it randomizes the length of the legs. It randomizes the length of the legs here, sets it here, moves the Tribrach a little bit, rotates the Tribrach a little bit. Very small numbers, just enough to make it interesting. Then we've got turning the prism on and off. That just turns the prism on the tile station off if they were on, and these ones turn them on if they're not. Then we've just got a quick little one here which just has my character states in it. And then in this one, this is my big script at the moment. So this is what my character does. The character move script, I'm waving my hands around, but I haven't got any camera going. The character move script is just the usual Unity third-person camera, so I'm not concerned about that at the moment, but I do have it set that the movement only works when we are in character, when you're in play state character. I have a heap. I've got my cameras here. I've got a few game objects: the character skin, the closest survey point, the Tribrach, the equipment manager, an array of survey points, and then also a number of floats so I can muck around with stuff. I haven't done the best job with them, but I've done a job with them. A number of canvases and text things, so they turn on and on at different times. These were more so that I could actually test something and I might be able to remove some of them. Then we come in here, we set the player state to character with the first, so it turns all the things off that need to be on. We add the survey points to the array, and then it just finds the nearest one straight up. And then I need to copy this into here, otherwise it's not going to work properly. And this one should probably be copied up top, otherwise it's not going to work properly. Okay, that's fine. At least I noticed I got it in two spots. And then this just measures your closest distance again, because originally it was set to infinity. Yeah, math.infinity for the closest distance, just so that it can calculate the closest distance one, and then it sets that distance as the closest one. Then we've got my character states, which go into the character inputs, the Tribrach inputs, and the Tribrach position inputs. And then constantly just checking to see which one is the closest survey point, and then when I've got multiple survey points, it makes more sense. we come down here and the character inputs, it just makes sure that things are turned on, does all the stuff to allow you to run around and then turn things on and off, turning different stuff on and off on the screen as well. As well as mucking around with the cameras when we change to this one. I don't know if I've done that right, but it works and I'm going to leave it. Then with the Tribrach, we just turn a whole heap of stuff on. We turn a few things, one on, heap of stuff off. Muck around with the cameras again. This one here goes back to the player state. This one here is just where I've been mucking around with my angles to make it work. And then this stuff all twists the rotation values. And then what we can do is hit the T key to go into the Tribrach positioning. Tribrach positioning switches a few things around again. If you hit the R key, you go back to the leveling mode. And then we've just got a little bit of a movement here to shift it around. Then on here, basically the same thing. This bubble is on the bubble itself, and I've just brought the Tribrach into that, and then it gets the angles, transforms the angles into max range, sets it, and then also clamps it at a maximum value. Then what I'll do is I go in here, so play maximize. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It looks like sniper rifle. All good. All good. Okay, so when you come in here, you run over to this point over here. You see that? That's my ground point. So everything else is off at the moment. I've got nothing on the screen. But as I get close enough, then I've got this tripod set up in the corner here. So I hit E to set up my tripod. Boom. The tripod is now set up. Now what it's done is it's shifted the Tribrach a little bit, as well as moved the rotation as well. You'll notice that more importantly in a minute. If I wanted to now, I could literally just go T to set up total station, R to pack it up. I haven't got that set up fully yet because one of the other guys is working on that, or we can turn that one to put the prism on, and this one to turn it off. That's all good. I could also pack up the tripod, but I want to set it up. Then what I do is I go into level Tribrach. Boom. And I go like that. Now, I need to fix this up a little bit, but as you can see, my bubble right here's my bubble, and that little blue bubble is off on the side there because this is not level. So if I pause that, come out here, and you'll see that my Tribrach, the rotation values are off, and the position is also off a little bit. So if we go back in, if I just go straight to T to look at it, I can go T, look in it. You can see, well, I'm not looking over my point, right? So I'm going to shift it down a little bit to okay, close enough. Return back to my leveling. My bubble's still out though, so I've got to move it. So what I've got is I've got WE, which turn the wheel up top there, A and Z, which turn the wheel at the bottom here, and C and F that turn the wheel at the bottom there. I need to fix up how it looks, but that's the general gist of it. So if, just for example, if I hold down W, this is what the bubble does. As you can see, it's moving up. Okay, so as you can see, it's moving up. If I hold down W, it moves up that way. And if I hold down E, it moves down this way. So the best way to do this, though, if I move it to here, right, I can then hold A and F down, because you can use two wheels at the same time, and it'll move sideways. Now, this isn't about perfection. This is about getting it close enough, because you're never going to get exactly zero. So if I pause that, you'll notice it's not exactly zero, but it's close enough. So if I go back into this now, I can then also go back into here and go, oh look, it's actually moves off a little bit. Now this is what actually happens when you're doing this. If you level it, if you go and position it first and then you go and level it, it moves. So you have to make sure you come back in and reposition it. And then we can go back here, and then we can go back here. And now that is all ready to go for us to set our tripod on top of. And I'm loving how that's going. And now we just need to work on the Tribrach, the total station and the prism, and set my total station up on this. Work on the total station and the prism stuff so that we can get that moving. But as I said, one of the other guys is working on that bit. So we're getting much closer to getting this done.